Warriors came back at home. They're a better home team than a road team all season long. They didn't have Draymond Green, but Mo, they changed the way that they were defending in game 3. I thought they did a much better job. And then, Seth, they also had a little bit of that, please just miss every shot.
Yeah, so far this series, the Kings are 19 of 72 on uncontested threes, which is bad. They were actually worse in game 2 than they were in game 3, funnily enough. But I think that the Kings, I don't want to say they didn't approach the game right, but I think there was a little bit of squeezing too tight on their end. Yes, the Warriors definitely deserve a lot of credit for inducing more pressure, for not letting Sabonis get into that DHO game is easy enough. But the Kings like to play fast. First 2 games, they were playing fast effectively. In game 3, they were in a hurry. And I think that really led to a lot of the turnovers, led to a lot of the poor shots. It let the Warriors get going on some fast breaks by those bad offensive possessions. And this is going to be galaxy brain counterintuitive, but the Draymond suspension maybe even hurt them that way. They go into that game playing against the full string Warriors. We're up 2-0. This is a free roll. We get this one. It's great. We don't. No big thing. With the suspension, shit, we got to get this game.
Gotta win.
It's 2-1. Then Draymond comes back and is 2-2. And now we're back on our home floor and we got to win that game. If we lose that game, we're losing in 6.
Yeah, I agree with you, Seth, and that whole point you said about just they played hurried and not fast. Like you could sense that. And I think part of it is, and I rarely kind of think this matters that often, I think that home crowd was a big part in that first 5-6 minutes of that game. May not have played a role the rest of the way, but that first 5 minutes, 6 games, that frenetic energy, you could feel it from them. I was almost like, yeah, the Kings need to play fast, but they also need to slow down right now. And I think that's a massive point. And I think you got to give credit to the fans at Chase Center for going completely ballistic and doing everything, booing when Sabonis gets the ball, all this stuff. I mean, there were times where it looked like, hey, for the Sacramento Kings, welcome to playoff basketball. That's playoff basketball. That was that moment for them there. And fair, like I felt like they didn't rise to the moment. And I don't know if a lot of teams would have. Younger teams in particular with this little experience. Like that was one of those things I think that needed to be calculated going into the game 3 for the Kings. I thought overall the Warriors did a much better job defensively. I think maybe just playing one big allows them to chase the guards a little bit more. We should also mention, this surprised me too, no Gary Payton the second. Like that was a late scratch there. But I thought the guards did a much better job working and trying to get over top of screens, whether it was DHO or pick and roll and whatnot. I want to see them maintain that, because that's going to be the important thing, is they've been able to just give free runs to the guards over and over again. And I think now if this is the defense you're going to get from the backcourt, that effort, I think it's going to become a very interesting series very quickly.
Even Jordan Poole was getting around DHOs and getting around screens and disrupting handoffs and trail. I mean, I was so impressed by the defensive guard play. Steph Curry still, though, they are able to attack Steph Curry quite a bit on the other end. Well, let's talk about adjustments, because Kings just lost, obviously. They still lead 2-1. Draymond will be back in game 4. What do the Kings need to do to go up 3-1 to you guys? I mean, what do they just need to stick with their approach and make more shots, or was there something that you guys noticed that maybe they could take advantage of from game 3?
I'm going to steal. I'm stealing this point from other people. I've heard it from our friend.
Can we
Dan
credit
Purcell.
anyone? Okay,
I've heard it from our friend Dan Purcell. I think John Hollinger's made this point also. I think Keegan Murray is probably not ready for big minutes at this stage yet. I think they should probably just start David Mitchell. I think that putting him on Steph has gotten them good stuff, and I think they might just want to start that way.
It's the first guy I can think of that straight up can just guard Steph Curry. Like, he is making him just work, hounding him.
But the flip side of that is that it's sort of like you put you put an infielder at the wrong position, and somehow every ground ball seems to find them. The ball seems to find Davion Mitchell like late in shot clocks for open shots a lot, and the reason why he doesn't play more is that he is an inconsistent, shall we say, jump shooter.
Yeah, I think the real answer for the Kings and the real adjustment, and this one sucks. Make shots for the love of God. Make some open
Yeah.
shots for the love of God. Please
The
gotta
old play
make
make
better
open
adjustment.
shots.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 3 games at this point. They're shooting 27% from 3. Kevin Herter is nowhere to be found. Just, I mean, there's not much as a coaching staff. You kind of just going, we're getting the shots we want, even in game 3. Got the looks you wanted, just couldn't make them. And I think
6
that's
of 27 on uncontested threes.
I mean, like, you're just looking at it going like, as a coaching staff, I honestly, I wouldn't know what like massive adjustment. I like the adjustment with the starting lineup. I think I felt the Keegan Murray, this thing might be too big for him. My only pushback on it is I want him to play a little more to get more of that, get comfortable with it for future Keegan Murray. Sucks
Right.
for current Kings, but for
It's
future Keegan Murray and Kings,
I'm not saying bench him. Just,
right.
but
yeah.
I think if you take him out of the lineup,
Yeah.
confidence goes even. He's already low on confidence right now.
Right.
You take him out of the lineup, and even if it's like, hey, kid, you're still going to play, you have to understand just human nature of it is like, damn, I'm not playing well enough. I've lost my starting spot in our biggest moments. That might take some massaging as a coach, and that might be where some coaches can smooth stuff over. Thank God Nick Nurse isn't there, and I think that goes a long way with that stuff. And I think the that will matter in that. So I kind of be like, let's play him. We just won't play him a lot. But my adjustments are just like, fuck, make shots.
No, on that front, I mean, you said earlier about coaching being a sales job, and maybe it's as simple as, hey, we need some, like, Steph is killing us. Davion is and so we got to get him in the lineup, and you're still gonna, but we need to start this way.
Yeah.
I like it. Probably do it, but like Mike Brown is probably better.
I was going to say Mike Brown
yeah.
might be a little bit better
Yeah.
at that than you are, Seth. Hey, buddy, listen, you're not good enough today. Sorry. Yeah. And then for the Warriors, guys, think about game 4. They're going to get Draymond back. My assumption is they'll have Gary Payton back because he was out for like an illness, non-COVID. Hopefully they'll have him back, be at full strength. If you're the Warriors, would you just start small, like Draymond and maybe Gary Payton in the starting lineup or Dante?
No. Looney needs to be on the court. Would
you bring Draymond off the bench?
No, I look, I stay with what you have. Just don't be afraid to go small quicker than you normally do.
Right.
And I think that should be the case. But Dave, you heard me all last final screaming, Looney needs to play more. Looney needs to play more.
I got that tattooed.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
it's like, I will lose my mind if tomorrow's starting lineup is announced and Looney isn't in it. Like, I'm just going to go ballistic there on the Warriors at that point. Like, he showed it, his impact. He had 20 rebounds in that game. Like, and had a bunch of assists. How many assists he finished with? 9?
9.
Yeah.
9 assists. Like, that's Draymond like, to be honest with you. That line of 4 points, 20 rebounds, 9 assists, kind of Draymond-esque. So I think like it would be sort of silly if they try to do it. Don't go overboard. Don't overthink this right now if you're the Warriors. And I think just you won the game. Get rolling here. Keep the defensive intensity of going over screens and fighting through that stuff. For the Warriors, I wouldn't try to tweak too much and go nuts there.
I've got sort of an unsung player for both teams that I've kind of liked what they've given so far, and think both teams could probably get more out of. For Golden State, I really like what Moses Moody gave them in game 2, and we've talked several times over the season about how kind of frustrated we were about Kerr not sort of going to Ty Jerome and Anthony Lamb and not letting Moody kind of play through some mistakes. He was very solid. I mean, obviously made some shots, but also, with his size and athleticism, able to operate in a playoff environment. On the King side, I liked what Alex Len has given them so far this series. And certainly just that bulk against Looney. Now, you certainly against like lineups with Draymond and Steph, Len is a tough, because the defensive aspect of it is. But when you aren't facing that, I think that Len possibly gives them almost a better look against just Looney than Sabonis has so far.
I brought
crazy.
that up after game 1 to Mo. on the Daily Ding, I said, I think that this could be somewhat of an Alex Len series, if that exists, right? Like this could be the one. He has such a tremendous size advantage, Mo. He can stretch the floor, but I mean, it's about the rebounds. He can just, he's bigger.
I mean, it's so fascinating. A dude that most people are like, he's still in the league, is actually a pivotal point for the Sacramento Kings. Like this is, to be honest, as good as Sabonis has been all regular season and important he's been to the Kings, he hasn't been that great in this series. I haven't been. Wow, Sabonis is phenomenal. His biggest contribution was getting his chest stomped, and I think that's along those lines. That's interesting. Where like Len has come in and had an impact, and rolls hard, kind of very simple sort of thing. And I almost wonder too if some of it is when the Warriors' reaction, and speculative on my end, but like when he comes in the game, they kind of let down a little bit because he's not as skilled as Sabonis, but he's coming in immediate impact. He's got three things he needs to focus on, and that's it. And I think fairly Sabonis has like 7, and I think maybe that's harder. And I think that allows him to be more aggressive in just those 3 things he needs to focus on.